Titans Global. Let's go. Started with a vision, two voices in the mix. Max and Link together, building something that'll stick. Every episode we drop, yeah, we're reaching new heights. Titans Global on the map, burning bright every night. From the first recording session to the fans that tune in, we've been grinding every day, yeah, we're destined to win. Titans Global, that's the name, that's the brand, we the fans. Speaking truth through the microphone, messages that we send. Titans Global, that's the movement. Titans Global, feel the power. Titans Global, we keep pushing. Titans Global, this our hour. Titans Global, Max and Link. Titans stronger than you think. Titans Global, that's the way. Titans Global, every single day.
What's up, Titans fans? Maximus Titan fan here on another episode of Titans Global Podcast. I am your host, like I said, Maximus Titan fan, and with me, as always, is my good buddy Link. What's up, bro?
What's going on? Welcome back to Earth. Titans fans, lot to talk about tonight. The good, yes, there was some good. We'll get into that, but we'll also discuss the bad, the ugly, because there's plenty of that to discuss as well. But before we get into it, make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Most importantly, get in the comment section. We want to know what you guys think about this one from the top to bottom, head coach to execution. Let's get into it. I mean, I don't want to waste any more time. There's a lot to go over in this one.
Man, I'll be honest with you, dude. I had high hopes for so long in this game, and then when I look back on it, yeah, it was effing terrible, man. I mean, it was awful. It really was. It was awful on multiple levels too. But yeah, let's get right into it. First of all, I do want to say one thing. I was right. We did match up to them well, but we could not overcome the many mistakes we're going to talk about right now. We're going to start with bad play calling.
Yeah.
There was one play in the first half, the DK end around wrinkle. I actually liked that. I liked the way that it was, the formation was good, the way the offensive line, the way they moved to make everybody think they were going right. It was a very nicely designed play. I liked it. I thought it was perfect for the time, gained us 9 yards. I think got us either a first down or right at it. Other than that, though, play calling sucked.
It was atrocious.
I mean, it was awful.
Yeah.
It was awful. The run on third down to say, all right, it's fine, we'll punt, no big deal. But then later in the game to say, no, we're gonna put our quarterback on the 4-yard line and expect him, or 3-yard line, whatever it was, with our O-line that is not doing well against the deep. It was idiotic, man. There was no consistency in the coaching at all. And I'll let you go from there, brother.
Yeah, no, it was mismanagement. I mean, it was absolute mismanagement. Early on in the first half, it was terrible play calling. Like you said, there was one little wrinkle with the DK end around, which, yeah, I mean, that's cool, but it's Callahan. If something works, you got to get away from it. So to me, the most egregious, two most egregious, the end of half where it's pass, which I get, now granted, you're up, could have gone into halftime with a lead. They decided they wanted to be aggressive. And during the game, I actually texted you and I said, what are you doing here? If you're the head coach, are you being aggressive? Are you taking it to half? And you said, I'm going for it. And I agree with you. But when those first two didn't work out, you've got to run the ball and at least make them take a timeout. You've got to at least make Denver take a timeout. And then to punt, to keep the punt in bounds, to give them a chance at a return, that ended up going for 7 points. Now, you came back around. You had an excellent return from DK, and special teams is something I'm going to get into. But that sets you up for a field goal. But that's a 4-point flip right there. You could have gone into halftime with a lead. Instead, you lose your momentum. So that was bad to me. And then the other egregious thing, and we don't have to get in depth on this now, but congrats, Titans fan. Your coach doesn't know the rules. Your coach simply does not know the rules. For Iomander to make that catch on the sidelines, to get his elbow down, and then after the game for Callahan to say, well, he had to get a foot down too. Well, according to the rule book, that is incorrect. So, and I get it. You may not have won that challenge because the ball may have moved a little bit, but, and I'm just using this as an example. Mike Vrabel's challenging that play. Mike Vrabel's going to bat. He's throwing the red flag. He's going to challenge that play. I would say 85% of head coaches, if not more, are going to challenge that play. You've got to at least give yourself an opportunity. You got to go for bat for your guys. You've got to know the rule book. Like, he doesn't know the rules. That's a problem. That's a problem. I don't care that it's week 1. I don't care that he's a second-year head coach. Like, it's, to me, this guy grew up in football. His whole family's football. He grew up in the NFL. For you not to know the rules, that's a bigger red flag to me. So it is what it is, but like you said, play calling, it's got to start there. And then not knowing the rule book, that's a big problem. So yeah, just top to bottom, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough.
Yeah, the not knowing the rules thing was dang for sure. But the players undisciplined as well. I mean, that was a huge issue. And when I say undisciplined, I really mean just playing like high schoolers.
Yeah.
I mean, the Jeffrey Simmons penalty was it was just a perfect example of how we played. There was no need for that. It was already done. Yeah. I mean, it was so done that he was 10 yards where he freaking started, man. And the
ref had his hand up spotting the ball. They were spotting the ball when he hit him. It's insane.
And that just rolls right into our next topic, which is penalties.
I want to go back to that for just a second. I want to go back to that for just a second because here's my other issue with that is I don't care if it's Jeffrey Simmons. I don't care who it is. You can't have that. You can't have that. And somebody should have been, for lack of a better phrase, somebody should have been in his ass absolutely dogging him for what he did because that was a big, that was a big drive stop. Like, you were getting the ball back. You had a chance to get a good return. You had a chance to march down the field, and then that just completely sets you up for failure. And then there's no accountability. Now, after the game, Jeffrey Simmons, he said, it's my bad, I can't do it. But somebody should have been at him on the sidelines. This is supposed to be your leader on defense. This is a captain, and he's the one making those plays. That ain't right. That ain't right. And I don't care that it's Big Jeff. I don't care that he's been here. I don't care that he's proven. I don't care that he's a veteran. Somebody has to be in his face. Mike Vrabel wouldn't have, again, just using this as an example. Ben Johnson. Let's just throw Ben Johnson. He would have been in his face. It doesn't matter. So just the fact that we see this undisciplined stuff, the fact that these things haven't been fixed, we're about to get into the penalties. Like during the offseason, this is what they preached that they wanted to fix, the sins, as they called it, the self-inflicted negatives. We thought all this would be cleaned up, and then here we are in week 1 with the same old, the same old issues, the same old problems. I haven't seen any change from what we saw last year, in my personal opinion.
I mean, I can't say that. I mean, as far as the play calling goes, I can't really see, or the mismanagement of, as far as the coaching staff, I guess, or Brian Callahan's coaching style goes, I haven't seen much development from year 1 to year 2. I can't deny that. But as far as the players go, I don't know. I mean, I guess when you flip half the roster, it doesn't really matter. I don't know. I keep trying to take up for this guy for some stupid ass reason. I don't know. I've been taking up for him all off season against Link too, man. I'm like, oh no, I mean, we just get, I think it was just the pressure that he was under, and Will Levis is an idiot. Which we'll get into more of that later.
Both things can be true.
Exactly.
And I'm not on the board, like people are saying he should be fired immediately. Like, I'm not on the board of firing a coach after week 1. But I am of the mindset that if something doesn't change within this first quarter of the season, within these first maybe 4 games, like, I've seen enough. I've seen enough. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I don't think if these things are still happening going into the bye week, to me, it's stupid not to make a change. So I'm not saying fire him now, and I know it's week 1, but again, I just haven't seen any adjustments being made. So, but penalties. Let's go back to penalties.
It's all good, man. I was just gonna let you keep going. I know we're all pretty well. All the guys that got a little excited over the season, we're all just like, oh crap, man, here we go again.
Yeah.
But 13 penalties for 131 yards. I think we got 135. Is that right?
Yeah, 135 offensive yards, 131 yards of penalties. Yep.
Yeah. And not all of them were on defense, but a hefty share of them were, and most of the really egregious ones were. Holding, I think, was the most. That obviously is the offensive penalty that was called many times. I think there was one penalty against Cam Ward for an intentional grounding, but for the most part, most of those penalties came from your defense, and not all of them were deserved, in my opinion. That's my opinion. I think that obviously when you, as far as the Jarvis Brownlee PIs go, a lot of people are flying back, and even we have pre-show discussions every now and then, and me and Scoob are talking, and he even said, Denver's doing the exact same thing, and I can't really deny that Denver's not doing the exact same thing, but what I can say to that is when you're getting the penalties thrown up, like you did last year, you had a lot of PIs thrown at you. They're already looking for you. And then you do it once, and then you do it again, and then you do it again. As a matter of fact, there was one where he didn't get called, where he had him hooked around the waist that he clearly got away with one right there. But it was right after he got a PI call. I mean, it was that kind of thing. And then you see him later in the locker room, if you haven't seen that on my social media yet, but you see him later in the locker room saying, I guess we'll have to watch the tape, but I think I was playing great defense and blah, blah, blah. But I mean, to me, that is saying, look, man, refs called it bad, blah, I'm not really taking any accountability for this. And that's another big problem is accountability on this team. But go ahead. You look like you got something to say.
You're already not doing yourself a favor. Like, you have a reputation going into the season of being a handsy defender. And I get it. That's the way you play. But you're a second-year player. You're not going to get away with that stuff. You're not going to get away with that stuff this early in your career. And when you're in the locker room because guess what? You watch tape, so do these refs. The refs know what they're walking into. They know you have a reputation about you, and then for you to sit there and say, well, I didn't think they were right. Like, you're just making it worse for the next crew that comes in. So to me, it's like I get it to an extent. And look, I like the way Brownlee plays. I like Brownlee. But when they're looking for certain stuff, you've just got to let it go. You've got to let it go. And granted, look, the defense, even with the penalties, they still played well enough to keep this team in the game. Like, there was still a chance. So I'm not completely putting this on the defense. I'm not completely putting it on the penalties. There's a lot of people to blame in this. And I didn't expect to win this game. My score prediction was 24-13, but it's the way in which they lose. It's the way that they can. How many times last year did we say they found a way to lose the game? They snatched a loss from the jaws of victory. Like, this team just finds ways to lose. They do. So it's really hard to put this on one person or one unit, but Brownlee's a big part of this just because, like, if you're going to be a successful corner, you've got to find different ways to play. And he's doing the same old stuff, and he's going to keep getting called for the same old stuff. So just things like that just have to get cleaned up, and we expected this to get cleaned up in the offseason. It clearly didn't. So now here we are, week 1, talking about how can we clean this up going into week 2. It's just the same old stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of it is that. I mean, that's another theme, I guess you could say, of tonight. If tonight's two theme, you could say there are a couple themes, I guess, but bad coaching and problems that are still lingering from last year, even though we have, like I talked about, almost half of a brand new roster. We still have the same issues, which to me says that there's something going on in the development part that's not getting done. Let's see. I probably rolled over a few that were stupid. I talked about Simmons late hit, Jarvis, and Williams. Williams had a late hit on a punt return. Moron. I mean, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And
hey,
all
while
that
we're on the
points to
subject,
bad coaching.
Yes, and I want to get to that point too. But while we're on the subject of Williams, 0 defensive snaps, which really surprises me because I
Thought
said
that was weird. I
said in the pregame, I expected Cedric Gray to get the start, but this felt like kind of a James Williams game. Why has nobody thought to try to move him to the outside to edge rusher? I mean, am I crazy for thinking that? Like, you clearly aren't getting pressure from Key. I thought he had a pretty terrible game, but I expected him to have a terrible game. Femi, I heard his name maybe once or twice, but am I crazy for thinking that maybe James Williams could at least try to generate some more pressure? Am I off on that? Like, is that even a thought?
I feel like he's a little small to be doing that. I don't know.
I
don't know. I mean,
you're right, but why not?
Guy.
It's
but
what I'm saying.
At this point, give it a shot. Hell, I don't care.
Anyways, go. But yes, like you said, it all starts with coaching. The undisciplined stuff, the pre-snap penalties, some of the defensive penalties. It all starts with coaching. And to hear Callahan in his press conference, like he sounded defeated. Even today, he just sounded defeated. I think this is
he was defeated on the game at the game. Look at his pictures on the sideline.
I think this is a coach. To me, it feels like he's in over his head. He's trying to do too much between play calling and game management. And when you try to take on too much, you're not good at any of it. So I don't know if my first step is we talked about last year. I don't know if my first step is to maybe give play calling to the offensive coordinator, which that's kind of his job. Now, granted, the Bengals, they didn't run it that way. I mean, Zach Taylor was calling plays. I don't really know what Callahan was doing on the Bengals at this point. He definitely wasn't developing.
That's the problem. I don't think he was doing much of anything except hanging out with the guys.
Yeah, and I'll say this, like when the coaching spot opened up, Callahan was my number one pick. Like he's the guy I wanted in Nashville. But I can admit that I was wrong. I just think this is somebody who's overwhelmed, who's in over his head, who's trying to do too much. And look, this can change, but I haven't seen any signs last season or this season that we're going to see that change. And I really don't want to be the team who gets into this cycle of new head coach, then a new GM, then a new head coach, then a new GM, then a new head coach. Like, I don't want to get into that cycle, but I think we've seen enough that unless something changes by like week 6, I think we've seen enough to know that he's not the guy. I don't like, I really hate to sit here and say that after week 1, but I feel like I've seen enough. I have. So I don't know. Take what you will with that, but we'll see what happens.
I give him 2 more weeks. If in 2 more weeks we're still talking about games like we're talking about this one, yeah, something's got to happen. Something's got to change. We cannot go another football season like that. We can't ruin Cam Ward like that with anyway. Before I move on from the penalties, I do have to say we gave Denver 6 free first downs.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah.
Gift wraps, man, with the cheese and the meats and the fancy crackers, with the shit on them. Anyway, something else that really blew my mind about the coaching, which again, another, just rolls right with my theme of bad coaching, but Snead was on a snap count, which I know him and Snead both said that. But at the same time, after the game, Snead was quoted saying, I actually wanted to go in the second half.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I really don't.
So
and look,
Go ahead.
Well,
Man.
but no, you're fine. And I just keep interrupting and jumping around. I can't help, like, I'm on one. So I thought he played pretty well while he was in there. Like, I didn't really have a lot of complaints for a guy that didn't practice and didn't do training camp and doesn't really do anything except start the game. So I really didn't have a lot of complaints. I mean, he looked healthy to me. So yeah, I don't really have an answer for why he wasn't there in the second half, and nobody else really seems to have one either. So I don't know. I'm at a loss on that one.
All right. I don't really have much to say about that at all, except for the fact of, again, mismanagement. You know, when your back's against the wall and you're trying to pull one out defensively, which, you know, clearly we needed the defense to help us out there. You put your best players on the field.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless they're not healthy and you're withholding information. Now, if that's the case, that's a totally different story. But if he is 100% and he's sitting on the sideline saying, I want to go in, and you don't put him in, that is a complete mismanagement of talent, roster. One more thing I want to bring up, and I thought about this on my ride home tonight from work. What was the best thing about Brian Callahan becoming the coach of the Titans? What was the one thing we were guaranteed to have if Brian Callahan became the head coach? What was that one thing?
A better offense, a more dynamic offense. Am I on the
It was his
right
dad.
track here? Oh, well, yeah, true.
I mean, we all as Titans fans were like, well, hey, if nothing else, we'll get a damn good offensive line. Our offensive line issues are going to be fixed. I hate to tell you, folks, and I'll be honest with you, I defended the offensive line vehemently today on social media. And I have to basically say that I'm a moron. Until I looked at the defensive number, until I looked at the actual numbers, I thought that we were better. We played better. Our offensive line played better. And I'm just wrong. I was just wrong. And I mean, we'll get into the actual numbers of that, but it basically equates to there were two teams that had over 6 sacks or more last season. And it was the Bengals and the Titans. Denver got 6 sacks or more on 2 teams. That was it, just 2. And one of them was the Titans. So we played Denver in 2024. They had 6 sacks. We played Denver in 2025. They had 6 sacks. Mm-hmm. If you ask me, I mean, you can talk about pressures and all that other stuff. It doesn't matter. Sacks are what matter. And 2 of those sacks, I guess, are technically on Cam Ward. So I guess you could say it was a smidge better, but I don't think so because Levis probably ran into at least 2.
I'll say this. I do think it was a combination. Now, I think the offensive line is more to blame, but I do think there was a slight combination of Cam Ward holding onto the ball a little bit too long in certain situations, which, again, I mean, he's a rookie, so I expect that. And I think that's things that are going to have to be taught. But, again, I don't know that you have the right coach to teach him. But yeah, I mean, the offensive line as a whole, it just wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough. Did I see some improvement over last year? Maybe, but it's also hard for me to tell because look, even though Cam Ward held onto the ball a little too long, he was still pretty good at moving the pocket, knowing where his checkdowns were. I mean, if you look at that first drive, that pass to Pollard where he's not even looking, he just knows he's there. Like, that's a quarterback who knows the offense. And that's the kind of talent that you want to see early. I thought that was absolutely excellent. But the offensive line as a whole, again, it just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. I mean, J.C. Latham was getting beat pretty constantly. And granted, this is I said it before in the pregame, it's probably a top 5 defense when all things are said and done at the end of the year. So it wasn't an ideal start to the season with how they matched up against this defensive front. But you have to be better than you were. So it's hard for me to take a lot of positives from that. I'm curious how they play maybe week 3, because you're not really getting another break this coming week. So we'll see how they progress over the next 2 to 3 weeks. But I mean, JC Latham, nobody really knows what's going on there as far as the injury. Going to be interesting to see if he goes. But I'll tell you right now, Udo was getting absolutely destroyed. If he's your starting right tackle, you're going to have a lot bigger problems these next couple weeks to come.
Yeah, I think I see or I smell a Crenshaw Dickerson move up from the practice squad, and please God be better than Uda. All right, so it has been a pretty depressing show so far. I promise there is some positives in this. We will get to those later, but right now we will get to some positivity because it's that time again. So we're going to go on break. It's only about a 35, 40-second commercial. Then we'll come back with Scoob Scoop. Stick around.
What's up, Titans fans? Maximus Titan fan here. Are you in need of professional excavation services? Look no further. Red Zone Builders has the expertise, experience, and equipment to handle all or any excavation project, big or small. Whether you need land clearing, site preparation, trenching, foundation excavation, or any other excavation services, they have you covered. Their team of skilled professionals work diligently to ensure your project is completed safely, efficiently, and to your satisfaction. Trust the experts at Red Zone Builders to get the job done right.
Hey there, Max, Link, Titans fans. How's everybody doing tonight? I'm just going to talk about my experience for the game from Sunday. Went to a season ticket member event at Buffalo Wild Wings. Invited my buddy Rossi with me. It was kind of a late minute thing, and I know he's always down to hit up the late minute things. I got to see Ashley and my little buddy Landon, Titan Bot. There's a lot of good fans there. It was a pretty packed event. For the most part, man, the game was going so great. Everything was looking good. The defense wasn't really wasn't letting them move the ball. They were doing pretty well. The offense was struggling, but they were scoring field goals. We were staying in the game, which a lot of people didn't think would happen. So I was pretty excited about that part. We were actually in the game. And then, at the third quarter, the bottom fell out and we just started shooting ourselves in the foot. Seems like we do a lot as Titans. So we just got to figure that part out. And I guess that's got a lot to do with the player. Everybody's mad at the coaching, but sometimes you just got to blame the players for making mental mistakes or whatever it is that they're doing, dropping the ball, keep making the same defensive mistakes over and over again. And so we just got to get that fixed. But I did like the defense. They did play pretty good. They held a pretty good offense to a low score, so I was happy for that. But besides that, well, next week we got the Rams, and it's a home game, and I'll be ready to go and cheering on my team like always. So tighten up, everybody.
Bring that positivity, bro. I love it.
All right.
Love it.
First of all, I have to say that is a really nice shirt.
Yes, sir. I know. I had this guy sent me this shirt. I don't know. It came out of nowhere.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, we're going to need you, at least for a little while, to keep us a little bit positive.
I can try.
Yeah. So, we still have to talk about the drops.
Yeah.
Now, according
like
to
a few of them were on Cam, but a few of them were on the players.
Yeah, I mean, he was throwing some bullets. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But I mean, he has high velocity balls in practice. I mean, you would think that they would kind of already have a feel for what it's like when he's under pressure, especially in the joint practices. I mean, that's why those things are so important. And preseason and all that kind of thing. But yeah, according to the officials, there were 3 drops, and all 3 of them were Calvin Ridley. But I counted 7, so there were 4 by Ridley. 2 by A.O. Manor and 1 by Chig. And I have to throw this in there as an asterisk because it just makes DK ran the wrong route.
Yeah.
Right. I think Isle Manor only had one drop. I feel like the other one was
It was
not on him.
contested. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
It was a contested. He made contested catches, or he was contested in every one of his catches. Let me say that. Go ahead, Link. I know you want.
Well, I think you had miscommunication early with Lockett. That didn't help, and you could see Cam kind of take control of the offense, and he kind of got him in him a little bit, which he should have, because it was Lockett should have kept going. He stopped. I will say Ridley, little interesting tidbit here. So, look, I talked before the game. Ridley was going to be locked down, and he 100% was. He had 32 offensive snaps. 27 of those snaps he was guarded by Patrick Surtain, which we expected. 0 catches when Patrick Surtain was on him. Of the 5 snaps that he wasn't being guarded by Patrick Surtain, he had 4 targets, and I think all of those were catches, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to look back at that stat line, but something along those lines. The one drop that he had on the slant was 100% on Ridley. You've got to bring that in.
Yeah.
The other one that was across the middle on the last drive, I felt like there was a little too much heat on that ball. And look, let's be honest, it was a hospital pass. If Calvin Ridley catches that ball, he's not playing week 2. Like, it was 100% a hospital pass. It was way too high, way too fast. You've got to learn as Cam Ward. And again, he's a rookie. So you've got to learn to take a little bit off of that to give your receiver a better chance. So again, it's hard for me to put everything on the receiver or everything on Cam. They've just got to kind of figure that out. Yeah, and they've got to figure that out. And I'm okay with that. Like, if you had lost this game just based on that, like, I'm okay, because that's stuff that you can learn and you're going to get better over time. But that's not why they lost this game. That's the bigger issue. It's the penalties. It's the undisciplined. It's stuff that starts with the coaching staff. Like, that's where it starts, and that's the biggest problem I have. So, yes, there were drops. Yes, there were some overthrown balls, but that's not the biggest story in this one to me.
I really feel like the referees were picking on us, man. I'm not going to lie. I'm not really much to complain about the refs, but I really feel like they were picking on us, because I've seen the same exact thing Denver did. We're not getting called on, holding, pass interference, blocking the back. I've seen all kind of the same stuff that we did. We got called on. Denver did it. Nothing happened.
You definitely did
at least 6 times. At least 6 times in the game.
You didn't get any favors. You didn't get any help. But look, a lot of those possible PI calls were on the reigning defensive player of the year. He's gonna get that benefit of the doubt. So, was it a little chippy as far as calling the Titans? Yes. But that doesn't account for 131.
No, it doesn't.
Penalty yards. Like, it
doesn't help either.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And like, to an extent, I'm okay with that. But the pre-snap stuff, like, that just can't happen. That can't happen. And that's the stuff that they focused on. Like, these were things in the offseason. They said, these are the specific things we're trying to clean up. We don't want to take this into week 1. Through the preseason, you didn't see these issues. And then as soon as they get in the game in the regular season, all of a sudden, all these things pop back up again. So that, to me, again, is a coaching problem.
Well, and one was actually thrown up, and because the announcer said it, I looked it up. But, Zeitler didn't have an offensive false start at all last year.
Mm-hmm.
And the first game he plays as a Titan, he has a false start.
Right.
Now, do I think that's because he's cursed now that he's on the Titans? Or do I think that's because maybe there was some mismanagement going on in the fact that he didn't play not a single snap in the preseason? Yep. And I'm sorry, I don't care how many years you've been playing, how much you've been doing this. You got to knock a rust off a little bit, unless you're a pro bowler. You know what I mean? You do this in your sleep. And those people are few and far between. You need your snaps, and again, it just goes back to the mismanagement, bad coaching. I don't know. I don't want to keep throwing everything on the coach.
But these aren't hard snaps. Like, you're not trying to draw them off sides. Like, they were going very simple. Cam Ward standing straight up. Like, it's not even like they're throwing themselves off. Like, it's just stupid penalties. It's just somebody moving too early. And I don't know. I don't know. Like, I hate to keep harking on that, but that's the biggest thing to
I
me.
mean,
Like,
we've been doing stupid penalties since the beginning of the Titans.
I mean, it is a problem. I'm not gonna
Oh
lie,
my
but
God, I
it
mean,
felt like there was a bigger issue. I mean, like I said, we gave them 6 free first downs. That's
right.
hard to swallow. That really is hard to swallow.
And you know that
Uh,
last play with Big Jeff, we might have had a chance to do something right there.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that was
You
a
know?
shutdown play, dude. It was
And
fantastic by
Barton was
Barton,
taking
and
him
it
to
was
the
just
ground. The
erased.
play was over. I don't know. I guess he just got hype. I don't know what happened. Got too
Just
emotional.
yes, that's the problem. It was
Yeah.
unprofessional. And the
Mhm.
people that want to get behind Jeff and look, I love Big Jeff. I've been quoted many
And that
times as
wasn't a
saying Big
soft
Jeff is
call.
my
Everybody keeps saying
favorite
it was soft.
all-time
That wasn't
player.
soft. The whistle was blown, and like 5 seconds later, he pushed
Oh
him
yeah.
down.
I mean,
Yeah, there's
there's
no
no
question.
defending that.
There's
Yeah.
no question.
Yeah.
And the point is
It
that
wasn't a
this is
soft
like
call.
is it not his 5th year in the league?
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yep.
you should know better at that point.
You're a
And not only that,
captain.
you're a star.
Right.
Yeah, and a captain. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. It was
Emotions, man. Emotions
I'm
make you
I'm
do things, you know.
I'm stripping his badge. I mean, I don't think that's far gone. Like, I'm stripping it because to me, like, Jeffrey Simmons is good, but he's earned nothing at this point. This is a new season, a new group. Like, just because you've been here the longest and you're the face of the franchise, like I was saying this last year, because I felt like last year towards the end of the season, he'd take a play off and you didn't see full effort. And I let that go because you're a losing team. Like, you're not playing for, but that was kind of the first sign to me. And then for this to pop up in week 1 where you're seeing the same undisciplined stuff, like, I'm having issue with this. Like, I'm not on this Jeffrey Simmons hype train nearly as much as I was a couple of years ago. Like, I think he's too emotional right now. I think there's still, like, you can say after the game that it was a dumb play and you can't do it, and people say that's taking accountability. To me, that's not taking accountability. There's nobody on that sideline who's holding him accountable right now. Not the coaching staff, not another defensive player.
no.
There is no one holding him accountable, and that's a bigger problem. That's a bigger problem. You have, because to me, it's a culture issue. It's 100% a culture issue.
I mean, he got in trouble for getting to a fight with our star young quarterback in the practice. That to me was a bad sign. I mean, I didn't really talk about it that much because I kind of wanted to glaze over it, if I'm being honest. But now looking back on it, it's like, oh man, there is a problem there with Big Jeff not being disciplined and knowing when to stop.
I mean, go back, because it's becoming a personality issue. Go even the Buck Rising situation. Going back to last year when he basically tried to get into a fight with Buck Rising during a training camp. Like, it's just little things like that. Nobody is keeping him in check. Nobody's keeping him in check. And even when somebody does try to kind of bark back at him a little bit, like Cam Ward did, he wants to fight him all of a sudden. So it's just, not yet. Not yet. I'm not prepared to go all the way yet. But there's going to come a point where he becomes a cancer in this locker room and a liability. And you're better. And I don't care how much talent you have. When you get to that point, you don't want that on your team. And for there to be no checks and balances, for there to be nobody who feels like they can stand up and get in his face and say something to him, like, I'm telling you, it's an issue. It's an issue. And I hope it gets fixed. But if not, like, you've got to make a change there. You've 100% got to make a change.
You know what's crazy too is he had like 5 or 6 pressures, which is the same amount as everybody else on the defense.
Oh,
so
yeah.
He did
all
play
the talent
his
in the
ass off
world.
yesterday.
All the talent in the world. All the talent in the world. But
he did a lot of good things. His emotions do just get the best of him sometimes.
Yeah,
and
but
that
that's
can
the
lose
problem.
you football games. And
yeah, I mean, he had a forced fumble in the game, which was a sack fumble, which was beautiful. But all that is erased by that stupid penalty. That's all we're talking about right now. We're not talking about Jeffrey Simmons and all the good things he did in the game because it doesn't matter.
Yep.
What he did right there pretty much erases all the good things he did in that game.
Yep.
You know, I need him to come out and show me that he's a vocal leader and a leader of the defense instead of. And we heard a lot of chatter, and like you said, we've heard a lot of chatter over the years about Jeffrey Simmons, and a lot of us try to glaze over it because.
Because he's talented.
I love Jeffrey Simmons. Yeah, and he's talented. I like the way, I've met the guy a couple times, and he was actually pretty cool to me. So, and a lot of these players are kind of douchey. So, I mean, it's nice when you come across a player who seems genuinely and genuinely cool.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you run into him at a bar, dude. You'll think you got one of your old school buddies there. It's amazing how cool he is, but. Obviously, he has issues, and I understand issues with temper. Trust me, but you can't do those kind of things. You have to keep it at a professional level, especially at work. I mean, you're at work, bro. This is your job.
But again, it's a culture problem. How many were we seeing this type of crap when Mike Vrabel was the coach? Just, I'm curious. No, I don't. Not to this extent. Not to this extent. I mean, no. But I'm talking about Simmons specifically.
I mean, Simmons.
No.
Well, no. I mean,
he still had penalties, but as soon as he got on the sidelines, yeah, you're right.
But my point is, you had someone who held this team accountable, and you don't have that right now. You don't have that. That's why, to me, it starts at the top and trickles its way down. And I just feel like this team has had no identity and no culture since Callahan got here.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Another thing I want to talk about is no heat. Oh my God, the pressures. According to the numbers, which I don't. We were just talking about that, but the numbers aren't always accurate. They're usually favorable. But anyway, Simmons only got 4 pressures. I feel like he got a little bit more than that. But Key was 1. Jahard Ward had 1. Gray had 1, and Femi had 1.
There you go. Simmons had the same as the rest of the team.
Well, we're talking about 8 pressures the entire game.
Right.
That's ridiculous. We have to, and many times I saw we sent 5, 6, sometimes even 7 guys to get a free runner at the quarterback. And when you send 7 guys, man, yeah, you're leaving somebody wide open, which allows the quarterback to get a ball out of his hands quick if he's anything studied to the game. I mean, it was just, even on the defensive side of the ball, which is our best side of the ball, and it's the only side of the ball that we look somewhat disciplined in, I'll say.
My McCreary Pro Bowler is looking pretty good right now, huh?
Yeah, that is one of the good points we're going to bring up at the end of the show, because I don't have a whole lot of good stuff to talk about.
But even then, you forced 3 turnovers. You had a muff punt. You started 7 drives in plus territory on the Broncos side of the field, and you come away with no touchdowns. I mean, that's got to be some kind of record. It's got to be some kind of record. So, yeah, I'll go back to what I said in the beginning.
I'm interested to see how Denver's defense looks against another team, and just to see if it was.
I think they're good.
That bad, or is Denver really that good?
No, Denver is good.
I think it's both. Yeah, because again,
but like you said, both can be true.
Absolutely. So it's one of the best defensive fronts you'll face all year. I stand by that. Again, I think they're a top 5 defense when it's all said and done. But at the same time, you did everything you had to do on the defensive side of the ball to at least put yourself in a position to win. Starting 7 drives on their side of the field and coming away with 0 touchdowns is absolutely nuts. Absolutely insane. So if you were just looking at the stat sheet minus the penalties, you're going to look at the team that had 4 turnovers and say, well, they won the game. I mean, 2 interceptions, a recovered fumble, and a muff punt. Like, no way they didn't win the game. And they still found a way to lose. So even when you look at the positives, it turns into a negative. So I'll get off that. But yes, I thought McCreary was a bright spot. I thought the secondary did enough.
The corners look good for the most part.
As good of a defense that you played, though, I don't know if that's a good offense to base this team on. Like it's a good offense, but outside of Sutton, like they really didn't have a pass catcher. That's why I thought the offenses at least kind of matched up well. I thought anything the Broncos could do, the Titans could at least match. But yeah, you did enough on defense. You just weren't able to put up points. And that's kind of what it came down to in the end of it.
That's been our problem for years, man. We just can't score points.
Yeah, but then you flip it to the other side, the offensive line. I told you we would get back to that with more specific numbers. Like I said, I was wrong in thinking that they played better than they did last season, or they were better than they were last season. The 6 sacks against them in 2024, 6 sacks against them in 2025. I can't really say, pressures be damned. That doesn't matter. And 2 of the sacks, to the offensive line credit, was Ward, but come on, 2 of those sacks is probably on Levis too. I mean, I haven't looked at the tape. I don't remember. I try to block out last season as a bad memory or just drink it away. But, that.
Pace Karonsky looked good. He had 0 pressures.
Sko. Yeah, Sko was the shit, dude. He had 0 pressures, 0 sacks. The only lineman with both. And, yeah, he is going to probably be a Pro Bowl guard. He was fantastic. However,
really
Moore
good.
gave up 4 pressures. Cush gave up 2 pressures. Latham gave up a pressure and a sack. Uda gave up a pressure and a sack, according to the numbers. I think it was a lot more than that. Yeah. But then Pollard was credited with 1 sack, and 1 sack was credited as coverage, which, whatever.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know how you say much positive about that.
I think, too, just while we're on the subject of that, I think it's really important, and I'm again, it all ties to coaching, but Cam Ward, one of the most important things he's going to have to learn is to not escape out of the back of the pocket. Like that's turning a 6-yard sack into a 12-yard sack. Like he's going to have to learn when to go down, when to let the ball go. And look, I don't put that all on Cam Ward because again, he's a rookie. These are things that should have been cleaned up in the offseason. And look, I still haven't seen the guy make the same mistake twice. So I think that's going to be something he catches on to really quickly. But that was a big part of this too, because, I mean, there was one drive towards the end where it's like you were in plus territory, I think maybe the 26, 27, and then you're punting from the 49. So that's going to be something they've got to clean up rather quickly, which I think they will, because that's just on Cam Ward. That's on a mentality. This isn't the ACC anymore. This isn't Miami. You can't just run away from everybody. You've got NFL dudes with serious speed and a good defense.
Yeah, he said he
can't
felt
run
the
backwards.
speed.
Yeah, can't run backwards. Can't run backwards.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, that's rookie stuff. I can accept that. I can say, all right, that's development needed. If we're seeing the same thing around midseason, well, then maybe we have a problem. But right now, I'm not really, worried about that. And I'll be honest with you, looking at the numbers, it doesn't look that way. But you look at the tape and you tell me that Cam Ward didn't do a damn good job in his first
He played good,
NFL game against a really great defense. I'm not trying to build the kid up or anything, but he did a very decent job. I'm not going to harp on him too much over his rookie mistakes, which again, I call them exactly like you said, rookie mistakes.
Hopefully he's not making those mistakes in week 12,
Yeah. Well, if he is, it's development. It's development.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down. I mean, because you see, it's not just flashes to me. Like you see enough. Cam Ward is way too talented to be playing with this roster right now, but that's what you expect. It's a rookie quarterback. It's the number 1 overall pick. You had the most amount of roster turnover. So to me, he's got all the intangibles you want. If Cam Ward is still struggling like this in week 8, week 9, I put that more on development than I do Cam Ward. And I might be wrong for that, but we saw Will Levis regress and take a step back. You can't let that happen with Cam Ward. You absolutely cannot let that happen with Cam Ward. And that's why I'm of the mindset of, no, I don't want a bunch of coaching turnover, but I still feel like you have your guy in Cam, and you've got to get somebody in here who can develop him into the quarterback that he can be. And, the jury's still out on whether Callahan's that guy. But we'll see. But yeah, I don't put any of this on Cam. I thought he played a hell of a game for a rookie against, like you said, a really good defense. No complaints from the quarterback room in this one.
Right on, man. You kind of took my thunder away from one of my damn positive notes about all our turnovers that we got. One of my really positive notes on our turnovers, though, was that our the muffed punt that we got on special teams was Dorian. God, I don't know how you say his name. Mossy. Whatever. It's the waiver wire claim that we got. I thought it was a great pickup, and there you go. Borgonzi showing off. By the way, you left out 2 turnovers on downs.
Right.
So in total, we had 2 interceptions from Bo Nix, a fumble from Bo Nix, a muffed punt from Mims, and 2 turnovers on downs. And we still lost by 8 damn points.
You don't lose games with that. It's just crazy.
Why did we go away from Helm so quickly? I mean, he was doing so good. And
that is a very damn good question. That is a good question, and you're kind of making my point for me there, Scoob. Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's Callahan game plan 101. When something works, don't do it twice.
Get away from it. Yeah,
it is Callahan 101.
All right, so the only other thing that I can say that was 100% positive, nothing you can say negative about it, was Chimere DK in the returns. He has cemented himself, in my mind at least, as the return man. Doesn't matter whether it's punting or kickoff returns. Yeah, he is super fast. A 71-yard return. I know you're gonna tell me how we only got a damn field goal out of that, and that is terrible. However, did you know that's the longest return by a Titan rookie in over 15 years?
Yeah.
Who was the last?
It's exciting. Oh God. Probably
just curious
Pac-Man.
if you had that stat. I was gonna say
no,
Pac-Man.
but probably Pac-Man. I mean, it has to be, right?
Or Mark Mariani.
Oh, that's
Mariani
possible.
was good. Damn it. Yeah, that's Scoob. You might have just blown it up there.
Huh.
But anyway, 4 returns on kickoffs for 144 yards. He had a 12-yard punt return, which again, 12 yards on a punt return, it's free first down. So
he is not afraid to put a licking on somebody, boy.
Keep that up, dude.
I actually won't snap back at this one. I think special teams as a whole looked a whole lot better. Honestly, the biggest bright spot to me was bringing in Fossil. Maybe you make him the interim coach week 6 when Callahan's gone. I'm kidding. That's a joke. But no,
I love his energy, man. He's always high energy coach.
Yeah, no, I think that's I think that was if there was a huge bright spot, I think that's it. Maybe just maybe you've got special teams figured out. Maybe.
All right, real quick on the hypothetical, because I love putting hypothetical shit out there. If Brian Callahan, is fired, does anybody here disagree with the fact that Wilson would become the interim head coach almost by default?
Yeah, he has to be.
There's about the DC?
Yeah.
Just for lack of a better option. I mean, honestly, and look, I like Denard Wilson. I think Denard Wilson is a pretty good defensive coordinator. I don't think he's anywhere near head coach ability, but if you are going interim to finish out the season and then see what's available, I think he's your best option, just for lack of a better one.
I mean, what about Gruden, man? I've been seeing all the Gruden stuff all over Twitter.
Look, man, I'll be honest with you. I'll be real. I'll be real for a second. I do like John Gruden. I like the style and all that shit, but do you know that would set us back at least 4 years, maybe 5. I don't know. Come on, man.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Again, and somebody asked me that yesterday.
In the Raiders, I mean, I don't remember that. But
no, I mean somebody asked me yesterday, like, who do you go get if you do fire Callahan? And the answer is I really don't know. I really don't.
There
Like
is,
I think
and
you've
that's
got to
why he's not going
evaluate
to be
and see what's
fired.
out there. Yeah, you can't, but you can't.
I don't
Look,
want to
that's
pick up somebody else's trash, man.
yeah,
I
but
really
you can't,
wanted Ben
you can't
Johnson.
think that way. You can't think, well, just because nobody else is out there, we keep Callahan like that. No. Like I'm
No,
not
that's terrible thought.
I'm not
Yeah.
prepared to do that. I'm not prepared to do that. If Callahan's not the guy, he's not the guy. There's no sense in wasting your time, because then you get into a situation of where you do see that regression from Cam Ward. Like even if you've just got to try something different, like that's where you got to go. So I don't know. I do think Denard Wilson would become your interim, and then you kind of reevaluate at the end of the season. It's just sad that after week 1, that's our big
We're
conversation.
talking about this. Yes.
Well, isn't Bill Callahan assistant head coach too, though?
Oh, he's gone.
Oh
too.
man, yeah. I'll be honest with you, dude.
I'm
I
saying,
don't
but
want
isn't he assistant
I don't want a
head coach?
70-year-old head coach, whether interim or not. I don't know.
Yeah, but you're not firing the son and keeping the dad either. And look, I'm okay.
Hell
with
no.
that.
Yeah, that's
And I'm okay.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you said earlier, like what has he proven? What has he proven? Like he came in, he's supposed to be this offensive line guru. Yeah, he's had a lot of success in the NFL, but he ain't having success here. So like, I don't give a crap. He's proven nothing as a Titans offensive line coach. Absolutely nothing to me.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, we reserve the right to completely change our tone in 2 weeks if we just go in there and romp stomp the shit out of the Rams.
For sure.
And then, I'll be honest with you, I'll be coming on talking about how, Brian Callahan might actually be a good head coach and all this crap, but I doubt it. I doubt that's going to be my reaction to those games, but we'll see, whatever, future, blah, 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 I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not ready to give up on the coaching staff yet. Not yet.
I'm not ready to give up on the season yet. And I'll say this. Let me say this real quick because we got a few minutes and I want to just, I like getting on my soapbox. People who come out and say that they're done with the team right now.
After one game.
I swear to God, I don't even respond to them on my social media because I'm like, all right, you're not even a Titans fan, man. You're not a real one anyway. Because real ones have been here through the Jeff Fisher years, through the Ken Wisenhunt years, through the struggles. Okay, you think 3-13 was bad? That is bad, but that's not our worst season ever.
3-25 with Wisenhunt.
Yeah, look, and I'll be honest with you. I think we're at 3-15 right now with Brian Callahan.
Right.
So I'm just saying, and everything moves faster in today's NFL than it did 10 years ago. So I don't know. I don't want to keep talking about it.
I mean, I feel like the only way something will change if our next 4 games are like this game. If our next 4 games are like this game, I could probably see something happening.
Yeah, but if we're in the same situation a quarter into the season, you have to make a change. You have to.
But
otherwise, you look just as inept as the rest of the staff. But anyway, I digress. If you have stuck around with us throughout the show, we really appreciate it. If you just joining in, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Scoob, my man down there. You need to follow him. Check him out as the fan of the year. There's no one more deserving of the fan of the year, in my opinion, than the dude right in front of me. Does humanitarian work. Awesome.
Appreciate
Titans. Like a celebrity. Knows everybody in the franchise. Season ticket holder for how many years?
Since 2017, but I've been a fan since the beginning.
That's right.
Well, yeah. I mean, all right. That's fair. There are still some people out there, I guess, that are running.
That's what I could actually afford, to be a season ticket holder.
Hey, I feel you, man. I'm still not to the point I can afford.
My kids graduated high school, and it was time for me to have some extra cash.
There you go.
Yeah.
But we really appreciate you guys sticking through our very depressing and demoralizing show. Hopefully, in the next coming weeks, it won't be as bad. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'll finish on this. Like,
go for it.
It's doom and gloom, but it gets better. I mean, I'm not going to say it can't get worse because I've learned with this team never say it can't
don't
get
say
worse.
that.
But if this look, it's week 1. If this is your floor, we're okay. Like if this is your floor, we're okay. There's still plenty of games to see the progression from Cam Ward. I do think he's going to get better. I think this offensive line showed enough that they can be more cohesive as time goes on. You're just going to have to figure out the culture. And look, I didn't expect us to win this game. My record prediction was 6 wins. That is still very possible. I counted this one as a loss. So if you're at 6 wins, like we're okay. We're okay. I mean, let's remember this is still a rebuild. We knew that going into this season, this is still a rebuild. So reset, breathe. You got your first home game coming up. It's going to be another tough one. Let's just see week to week improvement and take it one step at a time. That's all we got to do. Exactly. And we'll be here with you for every step of the way.
Abso-freaking-lutely. And catch us, Friday on our normal, or nope, Thursday.
Yep.
At our normal time, which is 9 Eastern, 8 Central, whatever. Anyway, thanks again, guys. Much love. Until next time, tighten up.
Tighten up.
Peace out.